Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Long Island, New York. We have way too much fun doing this show. Agnes, we should have outtakes on the side, but we get in so much trouble.
Oh God, yeah, no,
It's a whole other thing. We get banned from YouTube, first of all. I can't say
yes,
certain things. But then on top of that, in our families, in our relationships, we probably get in a lot more trouble.
yeah,
But we're
we get
live
it. Yeah,
from Long Island, New York. It's Love, Death, and Taxes. I hope you guys are willing to talk to us about oh wait, hold on. Just remove this from the stream. Okay, save changes. Okay. I hope you are willing to chit chat to us about race, religion, and politics in your relationship. Maybe not necessarily to us, but what an amazing thing to not be able to do that and talk to your partner about those things, huh, Agnes? Is that something you're able to talk about? You're able to talk about these topics, race, religion, and politics in your relationship?
my husband and I, we have somehow different point of views on a lot of
Hmm.
things,
Okay, okay.
political, religious, life. Sometimes we don't exactly look, we don't look through the same set of eyes,
Okay.
but we are able actually to talk about it, not argue, but
Right.
talk. I have family members that conversation is not possible. Not even polite conversation is not possible. There will be like fight on forks and knives at the table. I had someone coming
Maybe
to me.
maybe like cats and dogs.
Yeah, yeah, don't need them. Coming to my face that close, um, saying certain political things like I felt like because someone from the party that I support did something that that person didn't like, and I was
Right.
personally attacked, like I would steal 100,000 from that person.
Okay.
There are
Like
people
you
like
did
that
it.
too. And there are people as well that they're just being polite. They don't agree with me, but they will give me room to explain my point of view. And very politely, they'll say, okay, and they will politely agree to disagree, which is fine. To be honest with you, those conversations stayed only between our four walls, my husband's and I,
Mm,
and that's
okay.
it. And somewhere else, I'll just keep my mouth shut because when it comes to the family and friends, friendships are more important than political views, and especially in a family, people are more important than the political views or
Of
the
course.
religious views or other
Of
things,
course.
because some people want, they're not going to be around for too much longer. You cherish their presence in your life. You don't know how long I'm going to. And you know what, I don't want to have on my tombstone, she was supporting this and this political party, you know what I mean,
Ah,
or like
ah.
she was voting for this or that person. That's not what I want to be remembered
No.
for, so I told you last week, there are things that they are very important to me personally due to my life experience.
Right.
I feel more sympathetic to people that are going through the same thing that I went through because I know their pain.
Right.
Other people who didn't walk in my shoes, they cannot testify to that. They are not going to feel the same way. They have other issues that they're dear to them. And I respect that.
Yeah.
Yet, a lot of times that respect is not reciprocated. So,
No, not at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see last week's, we talked more about uh, uh, politics and chit chatting about politics amongst our relationships last week. So you want to check that show. But today, this is going to be a three-parter talking about race, religion, and politics and relationships. And let's start the show in a second. Wow. Let me tell you something. There was just last night, and here's where these things intersect. Just last night, and I'm dating the show, right? Um, there was a political event at a Roman Catholic meeting. So everybody wears white, black tie to this thing. It's usually reserved for very rich people,
So you
donors.
you did you
To,
didn't go? You
no,
didn't
I
get your
didn't. I'm
invitation?
sorry.
Damn it.
Political political heavyweights and rich donors go to this thing, and uh, it it's a big event that you're supposed to go to if you are running for president of the United States. Last night, I'm trying not to jinx her, okay? Agnes, she did not go. Kamala Harris did not
Mhm.
go last night, and Donald Trump was the keynote speaker because she didn't show up. I mean, there could have been two keynotes, but she didn't show up. She sent in a video because she said she had a scheduling conflict, and maybe that is true, and it made sense. But the next morning, I saw he went out and did whatever it was he was doing, and she went out and did another set of things. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe she was out at something last night. Maybe she couldn't have done whatever it was, but it may also have been the reason why she did not go is because there is an intersection between politics and religion at that particular event. And that event was held by the Roman Catholic Diocese here in New York. The Cardinal is the one who actually ran it. And who knows what her.
But Donald is not Catholic.
But that's the thing. Yeah, he's not Catholic, but you have to go. You're just supposed. They're just expecting you to go. It doesn't matter whether or not you're Catholic or not. They expect you to go as president of the United. If you're running for it, it's just one of those things. It's one of those things like
Well,
we expect you to do a debate now, and this is one of those dinners. Even though, in fact, I
yeah.
think this date is much older. And I'm not saying she should have gone or didn't go. I'm just saying the last person who didn't go was Mondale, and he did not do well in the poll. He was running for. He was a vice president too, and he was running for president, and he didn't go, and he lost. In fact, he lost 49 states of the 50. He only won one state, which is crazy, right? And then the joke last night was Catholics will just pray to God, and the next thing you know, you're out. You don't want to come show up to our thing. We'll
You,
get rid of you.
you have special
Yeah,
tunnels
it's
there
just
to the
a
top.
special
Yeah, yeah,
relationship. They probably
yeah.
should have come to this thing. Anyway, that's an interesting intersection because, and I know you are Roman Catholic. Um, well, you're a Roman Catholic, but see, here's the interesting thing. Uh, I'm Anglican from the Jamaican version of Anglican. Episcopalians here in the United States are pretty much the same thing. We are one step away from Roman Catholics because we have apostolic, what we refer to as apostolic succession. And guys, I'm sorry if I'm going on into all this religious stuff, but Anglicans do all the stuff that Roman Catholics do, except the worship of Mary, and it's not even so much worship. It's the hierarchy in the Church of Mary, and we don't necessarily answer directly to the Pope. We still answer to the Pope because Anglican ministers
Mhm.
and bishops will still go and hang out with the Pope, but they don't consider him to be the top. And it was because there was a break from the English Church from Rome, specifically because a king wanted
Henry
to get,
VIII.
yeah, he wanted to get divorced and wanted to get married. So it's very interesting. Like these things just happen on a social, but that is again is the intersection between politics and religion, right?
Yeah.
And so it gets tough to talk about religion sometimes because, in the same way a political party may have done certain things, a religious organization may also be seen as, oh, they did this thing, or they did this thing, blah blah blah, these people behave like this, or they're not like this, or what, this isn't the true thing. You think about all the different religions or sects of Christianity, the different versions of Christianity, Roman Catholic and Mormons consider themselves yeah, and they're the Jehovah's Witnesses, and what all the different ways that you can be a Christian. You can see how it would be easy for someone to have difficulty with one or the other. People talk about Roman Catholics and the issues they had with sexual abuse, but you can look at the Anglicans and say they also seem to have an unusual way of promoting uh, what many hardcore Christians would consider to be deviant, because they have, homosexuals and females as priests. And, when you go to certain religions, definitely certain Christian, they look at the Bible, the hardcore Bible, and like, those are not things that should be allowed. So it's very interesting to decide what part of the religion you want to be on, what part you want to do, what part you want to have. And so I can see it also being difficult for a husband and wife who might be of two different religions, or just, you could even be in the same religion and the same denomination, but just have different ideas of what religion should be. Do you have issues with your husband with the religion?
We don't.
No.
Um, we I don't make an issue out of it. We do have differences.
Yeah.
We do have some differences. Um, how to say this? I was raised in Catholic Church, Roman Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
I was active there since age of 4. So I have a different relationship with my faith than other people, just because I was there. But because I was there, I saw a little bit more than anybody else. No, I'm not gonna lie. I saw a lot more what's going on out there. So I'm going to church. And my faith has nothing to do with representatives of that faith. I'm not going to church for the man who is doing the mass. It's
Yes.
nothing personal. I have good friends, priests. I consider 2 of them like my brothers. One of them I know, which both of them you met. One I know already over 50 years. So that's a lifetime. And I hold him dearly. But what I'm trying to say, faith is something very personal. Religion is very personal. Now, when it comes to Catholic religion, it's easier for people to get along when they are from like different groups. Some people will call themselves Christians. They don't recognize saints or Mary, but yet send their kids for the sacraments. So they have to go to Catholic church. So that I can see between couples, like my husband and we were raised in the same faith.
Okay.
Okay. We have a little bit maybe different views on certain things. I'm more I'm not a typical Roman Catholic that I will agree with all the teachings. I'm a little bit more open-minded myself, and
I
I
don't think
accept it
anybody
more.
is anymore. I think everybody kind of has their own, they may not be saying it out loud, but I think everybody has
Yeah,
their own little beliefs about what is going on.
yeah,
Because when you confront them about what is happening in any of our Christian churches, you will hear people say, well, I just do so, I just do, they'll make these excuses or
yeah.
whatever it is because they, listen, I don't, how can I blame you for what happened in those, in the church 25, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 years ago? You had nothing to do with that. But there are people who are like that. They're like, oh, that's your church. And so you are just same way like you were talking about that political person who was like, oh, your person did that. So did it. And I was like, but I can't control everybody. We are humans and we are still fallible. So we all make mistakes, right? It's a very, very interesting thing where you
It
try
is.
to
It
see it.
really is because, like I said, to me, that's the way I'm looking at religion. It's very intimate.
Yes,
It's between me and God,
it's
not
personal.
between me, Joe Schmo, and Jane Doe, and it's the way I look at it. Like for me personally, um, Eucharist is very, very important, and I waited a couple decades to be able, because in Catholic Church, when you get married in church once, you either have to annul the marriage or to wait for your partner to die, because you say until they do us part, right?
Right.
I didn't have enough money back then to annul my marriage after my divorce. So God gave me opportunity when my ex-husband passed, that I was able to actually, after all those years, to do this again.
Right.
So do you know that I waited over 30 years, over 30 years, and that was very important. Some people that, oh, she's doing that just to show off, because she wants to show off to the people from, and as that person, show off to what people, the half that died, or the other half that doesn't remember me because I left over 30 years ago. So who the hell would remember me? I did it
Wow.
for myself. I
So,
did it. Yeah,
so just to clarify, people, what Agnes is talking about is the fact that she was finally able to get remarried because
in church.
your
Yes.
former husband passed
Yeah.
away. And we, if you're a fan of the show, you know that we actually went to Poland and got married in one of the most beautiful Roman Catholic churches I have ever seen in my life. And I've been to old churches. I was a part of an old church that's been around since 1600s, 1700s. This was one of the most holy places. It looked like one of the most holy places on earth.
Yeah. It's the
And
Century Cathedral now. Yes, it's beautiful.
yeah, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so great. I am still subscribed to their YouTube channel, and every now and then I'll see the screen and I'll pop up and just take a look
Yeah.
because it's so beautiful. So what you're talking about is the fact that yeah, you people think people have all these chit chat and what they think you should be doing in a religion, but the truth is
No.
it should be a very personal relationship, and you have to do what feels good for you. Even though I know everybody's got their little thing and they want to tell you how to do or how to live your life or how you should do the religion like this or like that. Who said? Who said? Because it seems to me everybody has a different take on what's
It's
going on in the book.
Look, I
And
do.
that then there's a bunch of people who have made up other books, people who
Yes.
have removed some books. Every now and then you go to church and they're reading from something and they're like, whoa, 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 that's not in my Bible, but it exists. It's from the Apocrypha or it's from, some other book. You're like, what's going on, dudes? Are we universal with this? It's very religion is very touchy feely, touch and go.
I uh, uh, I would give a lot to actually see the original Bible. without any edits, exactly to find out what is there, because the Bible was rewritten so many times, and the principles being changed just to appease people in power. So, everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you should make sure that you're a good person, you're not hurting anybody, and do good. That's at the end of the day, I think religion should be for that. And people find religion comforting in moments when they are down, when they're grieving, when they're going through difficult situations. But um, the contrast between Christianity and the Roman Catholic Church, it's a little bit here and there, but the principle usually remain the same, right?
It should. It should.
Just
That's the thing.
yes,
This Christianity is here, right?
yes,
And then
but
underneath that, you should have Roman Catholicism, your Anglicanism, you got your Martin Luther, your Lutherans, you've got your Baptists, you've got your. So this should be Christianity. And we all should be looking at the same book. But it seems to me that not only, even if we have the same book, it seems to me that there are a lot of people who just interpret it in a different way that they want to. There are a lot of people who love the interpretation from the King James Version, for example. They love that because when you read it that way, sometimes there are interesting ways of saying things that aren't necessarily there, but then also the new international versions, they've gone back and read the Bible in the original, um, either Greek, and there's another religion, Aramaic, right? And then they're
mhm,
saying this is what was actually meant in the original writing, blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, yes, that may have been what is written, but why was it written that way?
yeah,
Who was writing that? Why is it saying that slaves, you should be stay with your masters and be? Why is it saying something like that?
yeah.
Why are women being told you should be go into a tent and stay there for a week when you're having you know what I mean? Why are those things?
Well, I wouldn't mind actually. Just say that, please don't ask me to go and attend the cows or the donkeys or anything else. That's
Right.
it. I'm off. I'm off duty. Wasn't that a bad idea? Think about it. Would that really be?
To go away and be in the red tent for a week and nobody touch.
It's
Only
fine. It's
girls.
fine. It's fine. Uh, I'm gonna attend. But just think about that can be, like I said, those little adjustments, those little things
Yes.
can be done. But imagine being married to someone, like at certain point, i- man or a woman is rebellious from, let's say, Judaism, from Hasidic Judaism, and then, or Islam, and those religions are not as forgiving as Catholics and Christians. Those, and you know what? It's part of it. I admire that people that they're so devoted, because
Yeah.
there's no room for
Yeah.
any
This
adjustments or
right.
little
Right.
relaxations, like, oh no, no, you want to be with me, everything is fine. And
Right.
then this is this old myth that, oh, because you love me, you're going to change for me. That it's not happening. That's one beginning of a problems. You know that. So when you're dealing with maybe 16-year-old girl, 16-year-old boy, they might change, but when they older, no one is changing. They go back to the roots sooner or later.
Mhm.
So this is asking for, in a union like that, is asking to change your whole life. I married people from different religions, Buddhism and Catholic.
Right.
They would seem to be okay, and they both practice their own religions. They go to family occasions. They celebrate together.
Right.
They are, it seems like then those religions are not as demanding. But when it comes to Judaism and Islam, it's like you, this is like totally different thing. If you
Yeah.
think that okay, you're going to although one of friends of mine, she is married to a Jewish man.
Hmm.
They had to get dispensation from the Pope to allow this marriage.
Oh, wait. So she's Roman Catholic and she's
She's
married to a
Roman
Jew?
Catholic. But
What?
just not the Hasidic Jewish
No,
man,
not Hasidic
just
Jew, but
Jewish.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and so yeah, he had to. That I don't understand why he was married in his religion before. Then he got divorced,
Okay.
and then he had to go through annulment in Catholic Church, annulment of their Jewish marriage. Don't
If you think
understand that part, but listen, it
if you
happened.
think about it, Judaism is the original Catholicism. You know what I
It is,
mean?
yeah,
They're just Old Testament. That's all. They just don't believe in the New Testament. So
yeah,
technically, it's a branch off of the same religion, right? It's
yeah.
very interesting. That's the
So
other
it,
thing.
yeah, but
You
they
know,
had to both sign a promise to the Pope that they're gonna raise their kids Catholic.
really
Yes, so that was
interesting.
very, very strict. So they're doing beautifully. They are married for a very long time, over 3 decades, and they are very happy together. So kudos to them, and I'm happy for them. But you know, for anyone who is dating a person from very demanding religions, and they think that oh it's going to be okay, they're going to change for me, they're going to allow me because I'm here not over there. What if they decide to move to the original country, the country of their origin, and then they have to go, you know I mean, like, there's so much to think about. Those marriages are very difficult, asking for trouble, asking for a lot of problems if they don't realize what they're doing from the get-go, because there's asking to change your whole life, and love sometimes is just not enough, because the sacrifices you have to do for your spouse, they are just gigantic.
I could see it being difficult if you have chosen the love of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit over the love of the two of you and whoever you're with, because compromise is a major major part of relationships. And so in some religions, compromise really isn't a thing. Like, you're literally saying no, no, no,
It
no,
doesn't
no.
exist. No.
This is the word and this is exactly how it is, and there's no leeway for that. Luckily, yeah, Christians have the New Testament, in which Jesus is literally saying, yeah, that guy over there, he wants to eat this. This guy over here, he wants to do that. Don't be over here judging people. Judge not, lest ye be judged. All of that. And then, there's also forgiveness, the act of forgiveness. So it kind of changes the whole thing. But yeah, I got two quick stories I'm going to tell you, and you're going to tell me what you think should be happening with these people in relationships. Number one, man and a woman get in a relationship together. They are mostly secular. Yes, they believe in God, but they don't really go to church that much, whatever. The woman finishes having her children. They're starting to unravel a bit because she has just become super religious. Now, he's willing to go with her to church and whatever not. But when he gets there, he is not impressed by the church that she has chosen. The ministers who are there are constantly picking on him and calling him out. He doesn't really want to get involved in everything in the he's going because she asked him to go. She's going because he's got the kids and he wants to go. But he doesn't necessarily want to be a deacon. He doesn't want to be super involved. In fact, some of the things that the guys are saying to him are really turning him off. Like, yeah, brother, say his name is Tom. Brother Tom, we know you're out here on the streets. And he's like, why are you talking about me from the pulpit? What are
Yeah.
you doing? Are you crazy?
Don't advertise my
And he's
life.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, I don't want to be here anymore. So now I don't want to be here. But she's upset because she's like, you should be forgiving, or you he's just said so and so. And he's no, 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 no. He shouldn't be talking about me from the pulpit. What kind of thing is that?
Absolutely.
Right? So there's one. But then it's also an amazing, amazing relationship that I know of, where they're both of them are Christians, but one doesn't know how deeply Christian the other one is, to the point where she is raising her child in a whole different way, like getting them baptized and getting them to do certain sacraments and whatever not. And the husband just thinks, oh, it's just regular church. She's into like some really deep, consistent stuff. And when she brought it up to me, and she was like, oh, if he ever knew that I was doing all this with my son, he would freak out. And I'm like, why would he freak out? And she's just like, well, it's just easier for me not to tell him and just leave it alone. And I was just saying to myself, that is so dishonest of someone and hypocritical of someone who's saying, I'm a
I'm a
religious
religious
person, I'm a
person.
Christian, but I'm going to lie to my husband about the much, much deeper, almost cult like stuff I'm doing with my son. And I shouldn't even say it's cult like, it's just a lot more. A lot more. He thinks he's married to someone who is in this religion, but she's really in this religion. Just
Okay.
so that's weird. What do you think is going on there? And how should she really handle that?
Um, you know, I keep repeating that 100% honesty is overrated.
Yeah,
And it's depending how you're going to relay the message.
yeah,
But when it comes to kids,
yes.
it's completely different story. I'm not talking about going shopping, buying a blouse, throwing it back of the closet. Oh no, honey, I had this for years. You just don't remember I wasn't wearing it. I'm not
Ah,
talking about that.
no,
I'm talking about the product of their love, that they both of them are
right.
responsible for,
Yes.
So, at certain point, our kids, or doesn't matter how much we're going to teach them and then try to put certain values to them, they will leave home and they will go and they will start living the way they want and having their own traditions, their own values, and then so on and so forth. Sometimes it's difficult to watch because, like, oh my God, where did I go wrong? Why are they doing this? But but you have to let go, because as soon as they're ready to leave the nest, they're on their own. As parents, we cannot be responsible for them, so you just have to sit and distress. That's why I love
Yeah.
clients so much. But beside but no, it's that didn't he know this, that the father didn't know this anything, the
Still, nope. Still
no
hasn't known. And I
conversations
think I think this the child has been instructed to not tell the
talk about it.
father. Yeah, and not tell
Oh,
the father, which is even worse, right? Because now you come
yeah,
and lie to you.
yeah.
And I said to myself, you're looking for trouble, right? You want this? Are you doing this on purpose? Because your relationship is going to suffer at some point. 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, that child is going to say something, and is going to be a problem. But
It might influence the relationship the child has with the father.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
know?
That was the first thing that I thought as
Yeah,
as a dad. That was the first thing that I thought.
yeah.
I thought, here's my child being told to lie to me or keep things from me, which, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same thing. Okay, a lie of omission is still a lie. Okay, you got black lies, you got white lies, you got gray lies, and lies of omission. There's a whole CIA has a whole list of them. You gotta be
Oh gosh.
okay. Straight up, I just lied to you. I white lie. I told you some information, but not all of it. Gray lie. I sort of kind of told you a lie, but I'm fibbing a little bit. But yeah, maybe it's an exaggeration. And yes, lies of
Like
omission.
some of my clients, oh no, I
Mhm.
don't have any assets. I can't pay this. Of course
Yeah.
I pay.
Ah,
Oh, the houses in another state they count too?
oh, that counts. You knew it
I
counted,
didn't
and I didn't
know.
ask you if it.
I forgot. I
I didn't ask you if
forgot.
it counted or not. I just asked you to tell me all the assets. Oh, that's it. I didn't know.
I forgot. That counts? No idea.
So ridiculous.
Temporary amnesia. Things happened.
But what do you do if you're in a relationship with someone and after 10, 15, 20 years, all of a sudden they've decided to get super religious, or the opposite, you've decided, oh, I don't want anything to do with God or Christ or the church or whatever religion that you were a part of. What do you do with that?
That's very interesting because you know what? This is not only with religion. There are different things are popping out. Someone wants to move. Someone wants to, different things are popping out, and that's part of life. That when you're getting married, let's say you are 20 years old or 25 years old, I can guarantee you that in 15 years, both of you are going to be different people. So I'm always during counseling, I'm reminding people, like, think about it. How are you going to be receptive to changes? Because there's one thing constant is change. You're going to be different people. We grow as human beings. We grow through our experiences, through our education, through it, life lessons. We all becoming different people than what we were, and that's the way it's supposed to be. We are evolving, and religion might be part of that.
Mhm.
Okay. And some people will have maybe some bad experience, or someone will get hurt or what, for whatever reason, and they will say, you know what, that doesn't work for me anymore. Or like for myself, I'll find some books, I read them and I was like, okay, actually what I read, it makes sense, you know. And so my point of view is changing as well. It was different than, let's say, my mother's. So again, okay, so I'm approaching my partner's like, okay, so let's talk about it. What do you think? They will either accept or not. But over the years, you develop what? Respect and tolerance for each other.
You should.
You that's
Some
that's
people
the
don't.
plan. That's the plan. That's the plan. That's definitely you should. If you do not have that, um if you don't have respect for your partner, that's a big problem. That's a big red flag, because you should not badmouth your spouse in front of other people. You
Of
should
course not.
not say bad things. You should not start arguments with your spouse in front of other people or family members. You just don't do those things, and you do not attack each other in public. Behind the closed doors, figure it out, talk it out, break a couple vases over walls, not each other's heads, do something. But the tolerance and the respect, and you have to be ready.
Yeah.
And then the person who is changing, you know, then also they cannot expect their partner, spouse, to accept everything one to three or be exactly like them. You know, one of the 10 rules of a happy marriage, it's we walk the same path, we walk as one, but we are still different people.
Yes.
You walk as one, two different people,
Yeah.
because I can't imagine just simply dumping on my husband's like, oh, now from now on you're gonna like what I like, you're going to think what I think, and you're gonna have to look at this everything the way I you know what, I'm not sure if I will respect myself or respect him if that will happen.
You definitely, you wouldn't respect him if he accepted that either. You would find him less attractive. You'd be like, everything I tell him to do, he just does.
You know, it's like I always take under consideration what he thinks,
Yeah,
and I learned to trust. Like at the beginning, it was like, oh no, I can't accept what he's saying, and then I learned that crap. Actually, he knows what he's saying.
right.
He's definitely right about those things. So now, after of a, decade and a half almost being together, I'm like, okay, there's no questions.
Yeah,
There's no question marks. What he says, he knows what he's talking
that's what
about.
he's talking
He
about. Yeah,
knows, you know what I mean? So, like, there's this trust in a person as well. So,
right.
whatever changes I'm implementing with in my life, or whatever crazy idea I come up with, I always run by him, because at the end of the day, when I'm sick, who's going to be by my side? He will.
You
I can
respect his
trust.
opinion.
Yes. You know,
That's really what it comes down to, and it's important too. You how can you be with someone who you don't respect? You don't respect their intellect, you don't respect their opinion. That really doesn't make any sense. And so kudos, a big shout out to David. I know he doesn't like to be said, but I've come to respect his opinion too on quite a few things. um Ladies and G's, we've been going for 42 minutes. So even though we enjoyed this so very much, I'm sorry. This is our second part of Race, Religion, and Politics and Relationships. Can we talk? And we're going to end at this time. Next week, we're going to take on the last part, which, whoa, race. Wow, that's got to be crazy. I hope you check in with us. Right
I want to
now,
say something scandalous
please,
at the end.
please.
And in my experiences, my personal experiences, influence my way of looking at my faith. That's why it's very deep, only between God and me, not
Yeah,
including priest itself. You know why? Guess who taught me how to kiss when I was 16?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Conclusion. Conclusion.
Conclusion. Who taught you how to say you're 16? I hope it wasn't a priest. What are you saying?
That's
Really?
exactly what I'm saying. So I thought that we can end this particular part on the scandalous note. The
I
details
mean,
will be in my
he's
book.
was he a priest when he kissed you?
Yes.
What? How wild.
Not
Ladies and
kiss
gentlemen,
me. Excuse me,
bombshell.
not kiss me, taught me how to kiss.
Oh, he
That was a
taught. Okay, he
that was
taught
a
you.
process. That was a
Okay,
process.
there was Agnes. You're killing me. Right at the end of the show. Ladies and
Scandalous.
gentlemen, send all your complaints about this specific part of the show to mailbag at loveandtaxes.com. You can send all of your outrage
Directed to me.
right there. And please say regarding Agnes at the top, okay? But if you need help with your taxes, you've got issues with that, especially if you're here in New York or federal, you can go to nytaxresolutions.com and check out Agnes. And I'm telling you, no judgment. It doesn't matter if you are calling from a prison cell. you owe $1 billion. Uh, I guess that's Google's problem right now. They
It
owe $1
happened.
billion.
It
Yeah, and
happened.
Roman Catholic Church actually, it's like 880,000. If you owe a large amount of money, you want some help. She has no judgment. She's going to help you out regardless. I want you to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to the channel right here. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Amazon app. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there. And I hope to see you next week when we're talking about race, religion, and politics and relationships here at Love, Death, and Taxes, Part 3. Take care. Have a great weekend. I'll see you later, Agnes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.